that. Oh, yes. There we go.
Got a notification. We're live. Let me mute ourselves.
Has started, by the way. Essentially a lot.
Oh, okay.
I know we're live. I'm wondering if Terry over there is stocking up on gaming chairs. See this empty one over there?
I have not got a notification that we were live.
I don't. The notification went out on my phone. I don't know if it's went out anywhere else.
Yeah, it's been on mine.
Oh, we did go live. Good.
Yours does look like really.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody else look crispy, and for some reason I'm grainy. I don't understand it.
Not help you.
Oh, almost messed up. All right, Keith, you gotta get ready to sing that theme song.
Keith has a theme song now. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
You were researching a bunch of that.
To have said,
Yeah, I thought that's what you were doing.
are almost in color intro.
Yeah, you said you were going to do a parody over Duffel Bag Boys for the intro. I was like, I mean, if that's what you want to do.
I thought about it, Roger, but the beat didn't come out the way I needed it to, so I had to postpone that to the next podcast.
Oh, you're going to do Post Malone. Okay, that's what I heard.
No posty around here. All right.
I'll say he's too busy preparing for the Pokemon concert right now.
No, I am not. The Kingdom Hearts Orchestra? Maybe. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The Final Fantasy VII Orchestra. They're supposed to have an announcement this weekend, actually. I gotta look at that. Supposedly it might be DLC for old Final Fantasy VII, but we shall see. Well, are we going?
It's been
yeah,
going.
shoot
I
them
was
up.
about to say it's been
No,
live
all right.
for.
Shoot the moon then. All right.
Wow.
What's going on, everybody? Almost in full color panel is back. I am here with the creators of this channel. We got Gaines, Terry, and Roger. Gentlemen, how are we doing this fine evening?
I'm upset we've been demoted from the forefathers. Now I guess we're just the creators of the channel.
We did change. Did
He
change a
must have
lot
took
there.
forefathers over to his other primary channel.
Oh,
That's
shit.
what it is.
Here we go.
That's why I saw somebody watching a bunch of new videos on our channel the other day.
Yeah, the two fathers.
Well, I guess we'll start with some little nonsense that's occurring. D-Brand, people who may not know of D-Brand, they're a group who makes things and puts them out. They make PS5 shells. They also make other stuff, but they made stuff for the Nintendo Switch and all this other things. I'm not very well versed with the D-Brand, but they make other accessories and whatnot for consoles. They're making the PS5 shell, and they actually laid down a gauntlet and dared Sony to sue them. Is this smart?
I mean, I guess they figured they'll get sued anyway. Maybe they feel like going this route will garner them some more support with the PlayStation community and maybe drum up more sales than normal. And as they say, all publicity is good publicity. So that will definitely keep them probably in the gaming eye of if Sony definitely does decide to sue them. So maybe that's their approach, is to kind of sell as many as they can and probably just end up doing like a cease and desist and give in type thing or something. Or who knows, maybe they'll just win in court and they can keep doing it.
Yeah, I was wondering if they changed something around because I thought in one screenshot I don't see that they were like putting like the PlayStation logo on the
Yeah,
I
no, they're
forgot what
not.
they were calling it. But
They,
yeah, I'm wondering if they just found some loophole or some way that they can say they didn't modify something or along those lines.
yeah, they changed the inside too. So instead of it being like X's and O's and squares, it's just a whole bunch of like little robots or whatever, like little
Yeah, I see the
robotic
square was like a
icons.
robot head. The X was like a
Yeah,
skull and crossbones. I forget what the
yeah.
triangle
So
and the circle were.
I mean,
I
kind
guess
of
that's how they're
creative.
trying to get around it, is to say we're not using any of your trademark stuff or anything. But
A little creative there. Bowls and other stuff.
Well, guess we'll move into our first big topic of the day, which is censorship. Mass Effect Legendary Collection is supposed to drop this year at some point, and it was let known to the fans that they are going to have to censor some things. They didn't say whether or not they were pressured into some censorship. For those who haven't played Mass Effect games, sex is a thing. It is a M-rated game, and you can have sex with damn well near anybody, aliens, rocks, you name it. You could probably have sex within that game. And I guess because of the times, they're trying to not accentuate sex. I don't know. But for an M-rated game, do you feel that people should have a little bit thicker skin when walking into an M-rated game, or are people right to tell them that hey, they shouldn't objectify men and women's bodies at any point in time, which is what it seemed that people were upset with the
well,
sex sales aspect of media.
well, I mean, I guess it depends who you ask, to be honest, because the same, like, I guess there's people who would say don't objectify, but then there's also people who would say that you should promote and, basically, enjoy your sexuality and, all that type of stuff. So it just depends on what camp you're in, I guess. I don't feel like there's a right or wrong way to go about it because you can get flack from either side. I guess they could say it's not, as an M-rated game, kids aren't supposed to be able to get it, but I don't really feel like no one that I know of any stores that ever really enforces those
No.
like age restrictions. So in that way, since that's kind of tapered off, I don't feel like the rating system actually keeps the intended audience away from the game. Like I know when it first came out, in order to like get a mature or a teen rated game, like your parents would have to buy it for you. Especially a mature rated game, you'd have to have somebody that was 18 or what is it, 17 and up or whatever to purchase the game for you if you were like obviously like 13, 14 years old. But that's not a thing anymore. So I can see maybe that would be the reason they would do it. But I mean, I don't know. There's so many games now with sex and stuff in it. I don't know why they would pull it out of a legacy collection game. Like there's games coming out now that have sex in it. So I don't know, but maybe they felt like it would be better or something. Who knows?
I would say it could have been just saving time. Maybe it was just whatever they're doing to revamp it or whatever just took more time. And I know like the first Mass Effect, it was a huge deal, but by the third, like no one I don't think even cares about that too much. It was like more, I guess they're trying to angle it to like making the relationships instead of let me get the alien person over here. So they were probably, yeah. So they were probably just like, just kind of lost focus, and it's like, just do that. They probably just maybe wanted to get away from
Oh,
maybe the older stuff.
now I'm mad. That should have been something, Roger. You get them alien cheeks and it'd be like explored her Milky Way. That'd be like a bronze trophy. Now I feel like they could have
Damn,
really
just a
went in with
bronze?
this.
It's that weak.
Hey.
Oh, I mean,
That's our problem, not mine. Get
it's
your Kegel game up. You get to that gold trophy.
just weird. I mean, the game's not marketed towards like the whole sex aspect. That's one part of the game, but for them just to censor that one part, there's a lot more things wrong with it than trying to censor just like sex thing. Should probably fix a lot of the bugs they end up having. Them focusing on that part, it seems like the bugs might end up returning that were in. Hopefully that doesn't happening. That's a weird thing for them to focus on.
Yeah, it is kind of sickening with, well, you said the bug aspect, but also I still am like, it's an M-rated game. If someone's playing it that shouldn't be playing it, well then you need to watch your kids, because like I'd be involved in what they're doing, because that just sounds like negligence. And I mean, and of adults or whatever who are upset with, I guess, and really the only people who be upset with the people who play the original, and you had to get far. Like, these sex scenes didn't just happen off rip. It wasn't like you turn on the game and it was like sex.
Yeah,
it was like, no, you actually had to progress a story and build a bond to get the sex scenes. So for anyone kind of like weirded out by it, it's like, well, you had to initiate this. Like, this didn't just happen off of press X for sex, and that's it. Like, so it's just one of these weird things to where I'm like, well, all right, like some of the shots where they're not going to show the ass shots anymore for certain characters when you're in these romantic cutscenes, like, that's cool. But some of the stuff, I just feel like some people should have. It's an M-rated game. I could see it as like T for teen or something. It'd be like, yeah, I guess you do gotta dumb it down for the times. But it was M-rated then and still M-rated now. You know, it's the type of stuff we were doing in the God of War games. We were killing people and then having sex with their wives. Well, technically they were deceased, so I don't even know if they've been married anymore.
Their wife and then killed him.
Oh, okay. Well,
he had to be alive to know we was slapping his wife's cheeks, and then we took his life. First we took his pride, then we took his life.
But
way too much
toxic,
that you have to,
but
literally have to talk to people. Then you have to make sure you're talking to the right person at the right time. It's just way too much at that point.
I'm just laughing because that Terry sounded disappointed with life. He's like, "Oh, you just got talk."
I mean, I don't know why people are like complaining about it. Like, there's literally, like Keith said, there's like a lot of things that you have to physically do to get to that scene. And then if you make the wrong conversation move, like, that scene's not going to happen anymore. So, like, all right, we have to make sure we figure out each and every variable of that conversation happen. That's a lot of work. At least it seems.
On to Gaines' favorite topic on the board. Stadia, Google have decided to not invest in their internal studios any longer. They said that they actually just want to focus on their technology and bringing more games into the fold and not necessarily producing them. Is this a step backwards for them or a step forward?
Honestly, I wouldn't say it's either. I know, like, on some forums and stuff, they were saying like this is like the beginning of, I guess, them moving away from Stadia. And honestly, it could be like, it's one of those things to where it's either or. I mean, until they come out and say it. But basically what you said is kind of like what I think they're doing is more so Google really had no track record of, one, being a gaming studio. So it was odd that they stood up these studios to kind of be like Stadia exclusive publishers. And the second part of that is that Stadia shouldn't be trying to compete directly with consoles on exclusivity. Like, you shouldn't be trying to win people over because there's a game on Stadia that you can't play on a console. Like, PlayStation and Microsoft pretty much have the gaming console community on lock. So you should kind of go a Nintendo route, to where, as Nintendo has license, that no one else can get, like Zelda, Mario, blah, 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 that keeps people coming to Nintendo, and no one views Nintendo as a competitor to Sony or Microsoft. Like, if you're a PlayStation guy, you may not buy Xbox just because you're a PlayStation guy. And same thing, if you're an Xbox guy, you may not buy a PlayStation just because you're loyal to Microsoft or Xbox. But both of those people will have a Nintendo Switch because they don't see it as like, a competition to them. It's just like another game to enjoy and play. And that's really the route that Google should go with Stadia, as this is just another way that you can access games on the go. And really, they should take that money they got out from those studios that honestly, to me, was wasting it. I didn't really feel like they made anything like groundbreaking for Stadia, and try to invest that in bringing third parties over to crossplay. Like obviously with Destiny, you kind of have cross save, and if anything, that's good enough as well, because your main goal is to get people to kind of come over to the technology that either A, can play away from their house, like if they're on their phone, or can play on tablets, or can play on TVs, laptops that they just have that maybe they just surf the web and do work on. That's kind of the avenue you really want to get people in to like experience the technology and showing that it can work. And having exclusive studios, I feel like was a bad move, and they probably realized that on the back end, like, we're wasting a lot of money in these studios and paying all these people, and we're not getting anything out of it. So why keep wasting the resources? Might as well, like you said, put it into the technology, build out the infrastructure better, and maybe also use that money to win over third-party publishers and kind of get ports to be brought to Stadia, because I'm sure those are the games that sell the best on there anyway.
Yeah, I was about to say the like exclusives, because I know Gaines played the one where it was like the girl running from like her, I was about to say like nightmares or dreams or
Oh,
something.
Guilt. Yeah,
Guilt.
Guilt.
That was like the only one I remember of, and I
It was,
wouldn't.
yeah,
It wasn't their standout. So I mean, I think if they just focus on like the hardware, because I know Amazon did the same thing. They made a game. I couldn't even tell you what it is. To try to get people over. And it's just like it's hard to start a new IPO. Especially like it seems like a lot of gamers kind of what Games is hitting at had their like Mario. Like Mario put out a game, people will buy it. Who cares
Yep.
almost what the game is? They could remake Mario Time Machine. People might buy it still.
Right. No.
You don't know. New graphics, you'd be shocked. But it's like, yeah, they should just kind of focus on maybe even like working maybe with indie people and like try to maybe get games to come out there earlier and maybe get one of them games that get some traction to be like, okay, let's try to make it like do that route, not trying to focus on building stuff or work with other third parties and kind of take advantage of stuff. Cause I know like Cyberpunk, I think it wasn't a huge crowd, but people moved to Stadia to play that because with all the issues that happened, it was like people realized the convenience. It was like, I want to play Cyberpunk, but I don't have a new console or computer. Oh, I can just pay $60 and play it. And that's what we saw, like a move there. I don't think it was a major move, but it was kind of
Yeah.
winning people over. So
Yeah.
if you can kind of just keep that up, you eventually get there, and then hopefully you may get an IP that's exclusive eventually. But it's just no one's going to get it for guilt. Like,
Yeah. No. It was, and honestly, like you said about the Cyberpunk thing, like people who didn't have a PlayStation 5 or Xbox, Series X, like you really couldn't play the game. But like you said, that was really the first iteration of like reviewers and like big time game publishers actually giving Stadia any credit at all. Like most time they trash Stadia or they really don't even review much about it at all. But it seemed like Cyberpunk was like the one thing everybody was like, this thing actually works. Like, wow, it actually plays really good on Stadia. Granted, it's not as good on the PlayStation 5. You have a better experience there graphically, but if you want, 60 frames per second and stuff like that, hey, Stadia is a good option. You can get in for free. And, that kind of was, I feel like that probably was their best thing. And again, it's a third party game. Like Google had nothing to do with it other than paying them to bring it over, I would assume. But, that's really the route they should stick to.
Curious to know if Destiny 2 broad enough. Gotta justify DLCs for free. You just joined up.
Well, you got all of Destiny for free, so you got all of the backlog, and then you got all of the DLCs. Well, you got all the DLCs free up to Shadowkeep.
yeah.
So once that came out, and Shadowkeep launched like right when Destiny 2 launched on Stadia. So you got the whole catalog for free, and then they paid for your season pass all the way up to last fall. It was right before Beyond Light came out. So
So I
when
think
Beyond Light came out, you had to pay for your season pass again.
Destiny 2, I think, brought people over, but then that was the time I think everyone was trying to trash Cloud. So it was kind of like, I don't know how well it did actually on that because it seemed
Yeah.
like people played it and was like, oh, I got this one stutter. It's horrible. Burn it to the
Yeah.
ground. So
Yeah.
it was like, it seemed
Yeah.
like, I don't know if it hurt them or not, but I don't know if a lot of people there. It seemed like they're just building slower, and it's just I joked with Gaines about it. It's the dads. Like if you start showing it more to them, I think it'll
Yep.
slowly go up and up.
Yeah, because that's really a lot of what the Stadia subreddit is like a lot of people with kids who are just like, man, my kids take over the TV. Like I could just throw it up on my tablet or I can play on my phone. Like I have all these different avenues to play the games I want to play without like, having to have a dedicated thing to play on. Kind of can throw it around as needed. So I mean, honestly, they do need to kind of get away from that crowd being like the only crowd of Stadia or the more vocal crowd. But yeah, to me, they definitely should just keep pumping out third parties. I mean, they're bringing over FIFA and Madden, so you can see they're kind of getting in bed with EA, which is pretty good. I don't know how many people can play sports games on Stadia. I don't really feel like that crowd is a big competitive crowd, to be honest. I feel like most competitive gamers will stick to console or stick to PC. But the more the merrier, really to try to get people to try out your service.
Well, this step backwards, and this is the beginning of the end. Now, it might not be. I do think that they should have outlined maybe something else, a reason to still monitor Stadia. If not for the games that they're creating, then hey, maybe for games that we're looking to bring in exclusively, maybe they don't just make them, but maybe they just court a third party, grab their game that they're dropping, have exclusively drop over there, and maybe just through that, just trial and error, paying devs to make games exclusively for Stadia, and
Well,
whoever
they
showcases the
they have
best,
games that come
then
out on Stadia first.
oh,
Yeah,
okay, well,
they
you
have
just
games that's like first on Stadia, and then I forgot the name of it, but there's a game coming out pretty soon that's first on Stadia before it comes to other things.
I mean, yeah, maybe just for the community, just let them know, like, hey, although we're not producing our own stuff, we're still looking at giving very exclusive stuff that you can only get here. Because when you can your own internal studios, it just gives off a bad vibe. It's like, wait, hold on, you're gonna can your own stuff, and we've seen other platforms that heavily invest in their own stuff. They're not going outside of the ecosystem to pay other people to bring stuff in. It's all done in house, which seems to be a little more effective. They get first dibs on the new technology that comes out and first dibs on dev kits just for that. So when you have people who are able to kind of dedicate specifically to one thing, it seems that they're able to get a little bit more instead of creating for a broader spectrum of consoles and other things. I don't know how much testing has to go in to make sure it works on the Xbox, PlayStation, Stadia, Steam, and all these other things without a hitch. It seems like it could be a ton.
Well, Stadia is pretty much PC ports, really. Like Stadia's builds are really close to PC than more so of a console port, really.
But we'll see what they end up doing. I feel that exclusives are very important just to win people over, and they'll need a big one. I imagine hopefully they get something that's big, maybe like a good indie title like Roger was talking about, maybe something like a Hades or something like that that's just a real big indie port and are able to break out from that. But for now, I think it just leaves a weird feeling with a lot of people who've invested into the Stadia ecosystem as you ain't taking them games nowhere. If Stadia go away, that's I don't know if they're giving vouchers out for for games that you bought over there to use somewhere else, but I highly
What do
doubt
you
it.
mean? You talking about if they close the service?
Yeah, if they close the service,
Well, no, if they close the servers, I feel like that'll be it. I mean, honestly, I don't know why anybody would think that you would like be able to take the games anywhere. Like, they're not going to buy you a bunch of vouchers to another console. Like, if Xbox like did something to their system or PlayStation, they're not going to buy you games on another place. Like that, I feel
how
like
long have
that'd
they
be
been up right now?
for a
Was it
year and about
2 years?
a
Okay,
month.
1 year.
They came out in 2019.
Oh, okay.
November 2019 was the official release. Beta people got it. I think we got it like, what was it, Roger? Like back in
It was
August
a
or
while
something?
back because I
Yeah.
remember it was called Project something. It wasn't even called Stadia then.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. To me, it doesn't bother me that they close them because I'm sure that Microsoft and Sony has closed studios before. It's just Google has no track record. Like, so you hear them close a studio, and you're like, that could be a bad sign. But at the same time, like, honestly, those studios put out nothing. So if you're like wondering where to put your resources, do you really? I don't feel like they will win people over with exclusive games. Maybe like exclusive content. Like if you had like huge multiplayer. I forgot who used to do that, and they said you could play like. Matter of fact, it was Stadia. They did that shit with Bomberman. What is it, Bomberman and Pac-Man? Bomberman, you could do like 100 players or something. It was like more players than the other consoles or something crazy, but I don't know. We can go to the next topic. Because me and Keith will go about this all day. So
well, a bunch of games have been delayed. Like a bunch. I'll go through them real quick. So we got the Harry Potter Hogwarts game that's been delayed a whole year. I know, Roger. It's crazy.
Yeah, I was looking forward to that.
Lord of the Rings Gollum's been delayed. Vampire, The Masquerade, Returnal, which was a game a lot of people were looking forward to. Rainbow Six Quarantine, delayed. Psychonauts 2. Prince of Persia has been delayed indefinitely. They don't know when they're going to decide to put it out. Outriders got delayed by a little bit. Kena Bridge of Spirits got delayed.
Yeah.
Far Cry 6, Dying Light 2, and Deathloop got a little bit of a pushback to May 21st. And Pragmata 2023 was also delayed. With that being said, I don't think I've seen this many games delayed and pretty much all at once. The news kind of came out just back to back to back to back, and we're not even out of we're almost midway through the first quarter. So not even midway through the first quarter, and all these games are already getting pushed back. Do you see this as a ripple effect from the Cyberpunk? Just we can't put that out, or just something maybe they're going back and looking at it like we're not about to do what they did. So Harry Potter, if you need a whole year, you take it.
I wouldn't say it's a ripple effect of Cyberpunk. Obviously, we don't even know how close those games are to even being able to be put out. Like, even though Cyberpunk obviously had their issues, it was at least playable, especially if you had a PS5. Like, if you had next gen consoles. I mean, Keith had it. I mean, I'm sure you had a couple glitches or something, but it seemed like you didn't have like anything game breaking happen to you. Like, you seemed like you were able to enjoy it. So the game wasn't like completely unfinished. But those games may not be even close to being ready at all. And obviously we're still all going through COVID. So that probably is the number one reason. I'm not sure like where those studios are located, but we all know, certain states have a lot stricter rules than others. So if they're in a state that has, pretty strict COVID policies, or maybe just their publisher has them, they might not be able to have a lot of people in office, or, things like that could be affecting, their workload or their project, timelines or whatever. So I would say that's probably why so many games are getting delayed, is most likely just due to just COVID restrictions. And obviously if you have somebody on your team that gets COVID, that could be catastrophic for like work, because obviously games are already crunch time. So if you got 10 people on your team, maybe one person got COVID, now you got 10 people that have to sit out like 14 days, 2 weeks in a game schedule, project timeline is, losing that much time can be devastating. So I would say it's probably COVID related.
Yeah, I was about to say it's probably that initial kickoff, because I mean games don't take a month and you're done. They usually take a long time, and I know when it first happened last March, I'm pretty sure a lot of places kind of had a little scramble. I mean, it probably took a month before things were like settled, how to get working, and however their development process was, that could have all changed. So it was probably like, okay, we're kind of back. We could probably make our dates, and then of course you just already lost time, and it's like, all right, we can kind of take some breathers, and probably a lot of the COVID help support, because I know a lot of places are probably more helpful. It's like they probably got extra funding or something like that, or a little more time to make what they had to. So they're probably trying to take it and smooth it out.
Probably took about 3 where they can even get it back. Probably never got back all the way up originally. 3 to 4 months for them just to plan that part. Probably ends up pushing back maybe 5 to 6 months, depending on how into the development they are. I think it's more so COVID than Cyberpunk. Maybe Cyberpunk might have had just a tiny bit of effect, but I don't think it's all the games got pushed back. I was looking forward to anyway was Outriders.
What? Kenya was the better one.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of games did see Cyberpunk and just decided to push back that. Well, some were 4 months, some were 2 months. So some of them I felt like they saw it and were like, yeah, nah, especially when lawsuits started to be thrown around and things of that nature. It's like, okay, you need an extra 2 months just to avoid any of that nonsense. Well, it's not nonsense for people who have sued, but just for a developer standpoint, it's just more time that you have to tend to that situation and take away from the game itself, where you be busy putting out patches and things like that. Not that the devs are in the courtrooms fighting other lawyers and whatnot, but you just have the project managers and all that are having to figure out things. So I think Cyberpunk is a good, bad for them, but good for other devs. And okay, like things could still really go left out here. So let's ensure that we're doing everything that we can not to put out a broken game, because many games in the past they've pushed the envelope with putting out something that's a little broken. It's like, hey, here you go, like take this Anthem. It's not there, but just take this and all right, go about your day. A lot of games have done this in recent history, and I think Cyberpunk was just the one who had to bite the bullet on it. It was just time that people and I forget the name of the Polish community, or it's like their SEC or whatever. What are they? Their product quality management, pretty much. And now they're just ripping through their whole student. That's what it's. They basically ensured that the dev team didn't effectively try to cheat the customer with the poorer product. It's part of the Polish laws that you can't give somebody, like, knowingly give someone a bad product. So we'll come and look through everything to ensure that everything was on the up and up and that this was an accident. Otherwise, you're about to pay this hefty fine for knowingly giving people bad stuff.
Laugh at that in American.
Oh yeah, yeah. Apparently, that's like real
here.
serious business. To get them on your tail is not good over there.
Being able to screw people over is the American way, Keith. That's the Constitution. It's not my fault you didn't know the shit was broke.
But on the coattails of that, do you all think that buying a game at launch right now is safe? That it
never really was. Like a multiplayer has always been bad. I mean, Call of Duty year after year, it's like, well, there ain't no point to rush to play it the first day, because used to be servers. It's probably not as bad on servers actually, because I don't remember it stopping a lot, but it's been a while since I really played the Call of Duty, so I wasn't in there. But it used to be like, I know Madden, like, don't get on the first day. There's always like little bugs. I always feel like they get semi-smooth over, but I think it's expected now. Like, I never had nothing game breaking happen before. Like, I couldn't save the game or load it or something. So I don't think it's been here. Yeah, you can go.
Well, yeah. I would say that I don't know, like, it's not as safe as it once was. Obviously, before the addition of the internet and downloadable, and basically patches, over the air updates and things like that, you had a lot more to risk while putting out a game that was buggy, because obviously back then when you were putting them out on disc and cartridges, and it was a pretty static thing. Like, that version was out there and there was nothing you could do to change it without having to invest heavily, because you'd have to, obviously patch the game, but then you got to spin up your whole freaking logistical operation, production, create all these new cartridges, ship them all around the world. Like it's a lot to fix those bugs. So I feel like probably back then they, wanted to make sure that it was a little more quality control. And now it's like, yeah, there's probably a little bit of bugs, but they're like, oh, we can just iron that out, And honestly, I feel like they probably use us as like beta testers. Like the first people who play the game is like, they'll probably find some stuff that we don't feel like paying people to run into this wall a million times to find. Like if we got a million people playing, one of them will run into the wall a certain way and figure out, oh, you can get past the collision detection right there. Good job, guy number 1,447,000. Hey, you patched that. Like, so you didn't need to waste that money on testers. Like we got millions of testers who's gonna test the game day one, and they'll complain about it. So, I guess it's safe, for the most part. I've never played anything day one that was like god awful. And yeah, the servers suck, but I feel like it's as safe as it's going to be. It's a good way to word it.
If you're looking forward to a game that you're buying on day one, most likely you've been following this for a while. It's not something that just popped up randomly on your radar and you're like, oh yeah, I'll get this today. I just saw it today. More so, if you're buying it on first day, you've been kind of following it and you're like, yeah, I can't wait for this game to come out, and you play it. That's kind of like it.
Yeah, sometimes you can benefit from the bugs though. When you're first, and you got them bugs that you can cheese. And you get in there, get that stuff done, and they put out that patch and be like, "Yeah, you should have been here, bro. You should have been here when we was just, pushing. What's the dude's name on Destiny when you could like cheese him off the cliff?
Oh, yeah. Atheon.
Yeah, it's like you should have been here, man. It was great. Now you gotta fight it legit. Should have been here when the shotgun could range you from across the map. Should have been here, bro. But
hey, that's what you get for missing out. Fun.
Yeah.
Great times.
In terms of safety, I don't think I've played anything that was just broken. I played a few games that had a lot of bugs in it day one, but nothing that was truly broken. However, I had bought a bunch of games at launch that
that's not
were
true,
just.
Keith. You played Last Remnant.
Last Remnant is one of the greatest games of all time.
That game was broken.
I've bought a bunch though in recent history that I felt like let me down wholeheartedly. Like it just was a strong distaste that came with me even purchasing that game. Marvel's Avengers being one of them. The Last Star Ocean that got dropped really pissed me off. Anthem kind of upset me a little bit. There are quite a few. I think there are more that I've bought within the past probably three years than I think my entire like lifetime prior to that. I think they're about neck and neck now, basically. I do think there is a little bit of risk going into it nowadays, but I mean, like Terry said, and that's also like a bad thing because following things, and that's why I try not to watch movie trailers and things like that because I don't want to get spoiled and see all of it and know too much about it going into it. So that's the other bad thing that comes with following it, because if you follow it and then you play it and it's like, wait, this is everything that they put out.
Games, you're not paying attention.
Yeah, that might be true too. I
don't want to see anything. It's like, Keith, they're flying to the field, though. They're falling off the map. Don't show me.
With Anthem, all you had to do was what Roger and I did. Pay the $5 for that monthly fee for Origins Online, and that was it. You didn't have to spend $60 like and everybody else did.
Roger played it for years.
Yeah.
For years.
Played Cyberpunk on PS4 and said he couldn't tell the difference. So take that with what you will. So.
I'm just saying, Roger and I wasted $5 on Anthem. Everybody else we know wasted $63 after taxes.
True. I wasted $0 because I did not buy Anthem.
This game is wasted.
He's truly enlightened.
Thank you very much.
So with that being said, are there any games that you are looking forward to this year that you think might be safe to buy?
I'm looking forward to Bravely Default 2 on the Switch, which comes out on the 26th of this month. So that is what I'm looking forward to. I actually pre-ordered it today when I was going down there and bought Super Mario World 3D Bowser's Fury.
I have mine on order for a while now. I actually went. I'll save the part for it. Bravely Default 2, Outriders. Like Destiny 2. Kind of looters.
I'm waiting for all the indie PS5 games to come out. I was looking forward to the Kenya game, but obviously that got pushed. There's a couple others floating around, but that's what more I'm looking into.
Okay. I am looking forward to Tokyo Ghostwire and Deathloop. Those are my two. I'm really looking forward to those. New IPs are always good, I feel like. Get away from the monotony of Call of Duties every year and those games. So really looking forward to those two. And that brings us to our unnamed segment.
Unnamed segment.
I hasn't gotten a name for it.
And we
after all
still
this
have
time.
not gotten a name for it. But all good things come with time, they
Other
tell me
games
so.
to play, man. Man, like, why this is so difficult?
The first title we had was actually not that bad. Colored game. I forgot what it was.
Games.
It was something
Games
great,
for
wasn't
colored
it?
people.
Roger's not pleased with you all, so just get the...
What do the colored people recommend you play? Things like that. And Roger. What is Roger? Roger gets his own segment.
Is that how the song ends? Just a quick and Roger at the
end. What do you think they should play?
Anybody got one? No,
I do, actually.
Oh, we're recommending games.
Yes.
That's what we're doing.
I actually did go back out and I never got to play. I think it's a second installment of Bravely Default, so I went out and bought that one. So if you haven't already, definitely go pick that.
Excuse me.
Wait, was it?
Is that the one on 3DS?
Yeah, the one. Find it. Having to pay like $60.
Bravely Second, I believe.
I don't have my DS.
Just bought it.
Well, I mean, I but I don't remember if it was Bravely Second or if it's something else. But yeah, it's the one that's on 3DS.
He didn't buy that shit. He just laughed at the channel.
No, I don't think it's called Bravely Second though. I think it's called something else.
What's it called, Terry?
Like Inlayer or something? Yeah, it's called Inlayer.
Terry over there Googling Bravely Default games.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I don't have my 3DS on me. It's upstairs. I'm probably going to get it.
I think it's Final Fantasy 2. That's what it's called. What my game I would recommend people get is actually Super Mario 3D World. I just started playing it today, so it's super fresh recommendation, but it's fun. It came out on the Wii U, so if you had a Wii U, you probably already have it. As Roger looked it up not too long ago, and it was apparently, what was it? Number 3 best game on the Wii U, Roger?
Is that number 2? Yeah, that from Metacritic.
Yeah, so if you had a Wii U, you probably already had it, but this one is brought over to the Switch, and they also added extra content called Bowser's Fury. So I haven't got far enough to see what Bowser's Fury is, but so far it's fun. Definitely, if you want to play with friends, I actually played with somebody who jumped into my Twitch channel today. And gave him friend code. He didn't steal my information or my identity, so I was like extremely shocked that we actually. I mean, he joined in the Twitch channel. He was like, "Yo, do you want to play?" And I'm like, "Fuck, he wants my identity." I mean, darn, I forgot we're live. But he was like, I was like, "Darn, he wants my freaking identity." So I was like, you know what, he can have it. So I gave my friend code, and he just joined in. We just played safely. So it went, it didn't go the way I thought it was going to go at all. Like, he didn't get my credit card info. He didn't take my life, nothing. So
don't worry, Keith.
Kudos to him.
We don't have Switches, Keith, just to let you know.
Oh, yeah, apparently we don't have online for Nintendo, so.
Y'all haven't played shit with me. I mean, nothing. Y'all haven't played nothing with me. I keep forgetting we can't edit this. Damn it.
I like we have.
The game.
Go ahead.
No. All right. The game I was going to recommend, I recommended probably like a long time ago, but I've been playing it again, is Wreckfest. It's a $40 racing game now. It still has a pretty decent community, but they kind of started what the trend of all games do is a season pass, but it's actually free. Don't have to pay for it, and you unlock. They put out like a new track all the time, stuff like that. So it's been fun. I kind of get on pretty much every day, do the 2 new daily races. If you never played Wreckfest, think like Demolition Derby, but a little more damage, and you got funny cars and stuff like that. So it's always entertaining.
Before Terry goes, when did that chair get there? Or Keith?
It's been there the
When
whole
did that
time.
chair-
Oh my God,
This
you
one?
were
Been there the whole time?
yeah.
it's been there the whole time.
We talked
'Cause
about
I have
that
the one
earlier.
that we got from whatchamacallit, the storage unit. That joint's been sitting.
Wait, what?
No, he's doing a
The chair
collection
that
of
you're
gaming
sitting
chairs.
in came from the storage
Yeah.
unit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were pointing at that chair and you talk about storage unit.
Oh,
was
I
hold
went like
on.
this. Yeah, this chair came from the storage unit, and that's the one that I've had for a long time.
Just
Oh,
trashed it.
I just switched between the two depending.
That chair over there.
I did not notice that chair this entire time.
Oh, my pick, as Terry points to his chair,
What the
will be
chair
Horizon
was?
Zero Dawn.
Oh,
You can get that on the PS4, and I believe you can get it on the PS5 right now as well. So you can get Horizon Zero Dawn, PS4 or PS5, whichever one you're on. Probably
I
the
think-
scariest game.
They're like $5.
Oh, just do the. It's on the collections actually. On that
Is it?
yeah, that's what I was about
I
to
thought
look
it
up.
was, but I couldn't remember if it,
Yeah,
if
I
it
couldn't
was
remember it
part of
was
that
free.
collector's edition or
Yeah, if you have,
collector's PlayStation Plus curated list.
Yeah, and if you
But-
have it on there, or if you have a PlayStation 5, just go on there, claim it, and then if you have a PlayStation 4, you can go play.
Yeah, really great game. The second one is supposed to come out at this year at some point, which I'm hoping is going to be summer. Hopefully after Ratchet and Clank, about that August time frame. I really can't wait for the second one. So if you haven't played the first one, it's a great game. I highly, highly recommend it, and it's very scary. And if you play it, you understand why I say it's a scary game. But you gotta get to the end to understand the scary factor.
Oh, darn. Never mind. They're not
Yes.
doing it anymore.
Who's not doing what?
GameStop. I think GameStop had a sale where it was like 5 games for 20 or something like that. And I want to say that one, the collector's edition, not collector's edition, but you know how they bundle like all the stuff in with it, complete edition or whatever they're called.
Mm.
I think that one was one of the games you could get, but I don't remember now.
Well,
It was somewhere.
all right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for rocking with us on the latest podcast. Be sure to thumbs up, get that notification bell so that you can see Gains Hurt. And we will catch you in the next one. As usual, peace, easy, be blessed from the forefathers of the channel.
we got promoted during this.
I know.
Goodbye, shipping log.